two-sentence horror. Grandma, you're just imagining things again because of your dementia. No one is going to hurt you. Why does everyone believe a child when she says she got molested, but no one believes us when we are old and frail? We'll find the other survivors, sweetie. Not everyone is turned, she said frantically, shoving supplies into a bag. I know, Mommy, but where are they hiding? Her son asked, sneakily wiping the black ooze from his ear. We need to go. Enemy soldiers are coming, said the woman, as her husband put their crying infant in the crib. Almost done, said the husband, as he hid several grenades and rigged them up to explode as soon as the crying infant was picked up. My daughter looked at the gradient of color on my arms, admiring the hues, and said, Mommy, when can I have pretty colors too? Very soon, I think, I said, trembling, as my husband stumbled drunkenly through the front door with his wooden bat. Wow, those guys sure can eat, my buddy laughed as he watched our emaciated charges. Maybe we should tell them to slow down a bit. Nah, a bit of indulgence won't kill them. And if anyone deserves to gorge themselves, it's someone who just escaped the camps, I replied. I'm immortal, she thought to herself. But you can still feel pain, correct? The commissar said, buckling her to the chair. It's December 13th, 2058, and I've been called to a scene of a half-naked woman with no signs of a struggle. It's been so long since we've had sub-zero temperatures that people are starting to forget what hypothermia looks like. Is there anyone that you want to save before I turn everyone in the land to dust? The genie asked, pointing towards the man's children. No, he said, walking away to the sound of their agonizing screams, not realizing his mistake until he felt an intense heat all over his body. On my deathbed, I admitted to my husband I was a serial killer. My husband, in my last moments, smiled at me and whispered, Who did you think cleaned up after all your messes? So you were never caught, sweetheart. For the millionth time, don't look at the eclipse without your glasses, I snapped. In the 6th hour of sunless twilight, it's getting harder to maintain my decorum in front of the kids. We have your wife at gunpoint. You can save her by sending $5,000, the email read. Yeah, right. No way you put her back together for that, I chortled under my breath as I reported it as spam. Bad girl, I scolded my new dog for biting me as I reached for the paddle. She opened her mouth to scream for help when I grabbed her by her blonde ponytail, but I had already removed her tongue days ago. When the man met his autistic niece for the first time, she pointed at him and kept repeating the number 26 again and again. The man had no idea how she knew, but at that moment, he made up his mind that she would be his 27th victim. When a patient enters my surgery, accompanied by a faint buzzing sound, my first assumption is a sex toy mishap. A colonic wasp nest therefore made quite the surprise. The doctors told me they had feared I'd get amnesia after that head wound, but I can remember my life perfectly. It's just not the same life everyone else seems to remember. My girlfriend always promised she'd stay by my side, even in death. I just wish she hadn't meant it literally, I thought, as her mangled corpse tightened its grip around my waist in bed. After inventing a time machine, the first place I decided to visit was Imperial Rome 2,000 years ago. My last thought as I succumbed to the cold and vacuum of deep space was to remember that the Earth, the Sun, even the Milky Way galaxy are all moving. When I snap my fingers, you will all think you are Olympic divers, the stage hypnotist said, as she swung her pocket watch back and forth in front of our eyes. A few minutes later, I lined up with the other gold medal hopefuls on the hotel's rooftop. The next caller on the line was a hysterical woman who claimed her daughter had just given birth to the Antichrist. According to the cards, your reading claims you see the truth, and you must remember to cleanse the corruption from your daughter, I smiled, eagerly awaiting tomorrow's headlines. I put the Walther PPK to my head, thinking this is it, before pulling the trigger. Congratulations, you have completed scenario. World War II, timeline number 1148, ending 3, and we hope you had an enjoyable time at Time Travel Fantasy Amusement Park. When the Make-A-Wish Foundation took my daughter and I to Disneyland, we learned character actors don't let go from hugs until the child lets go. I feel horrible for the person inside of that Minnie Mouse costume. having to carry around my daughter's dead body for the rest of their life. Growing up with domestic violence, I swore I'd die if I ever struck a woman in anger. With her banging on the door, trying to forgive me, I hold the gun, preparing to make good on my promise. I screamed like a banshee when I removed the loose floorboard beneath my bed and found a strange man lay smiling inside a snug little nook. He screamed louder, though, when I nail-gunned the floorboard in place and told him I wouldn't be back at my holiday home till next spring. I found out my daughter's murderer was terrified of being buried alive. It took some time setting up the oxygen and feeding tube systems, but it was worth it. The monsters under my bed said they're going to kill you tonight, my daughter whispers to me as I tuck her into bed as tightly as I can. I pat her head and give her a reassuring kiss on her forehead. Before I reply, they were, but they accepted my trade this morning, so try not to struggle too hard. After my brother killed himself, I got a text. Don't worry, I figured out a loophole. I'm watching his decomposing body writhe, reconfiguring itself like a puzzle box of meat and bone, a kaleidoscope of sinew and screaming teeth. As the camera rolled, the news anchor's voice trembled while reporting on the chaos unfolding at a local high school, her professionalism faltering as the name of the shooter was revealed in her earpiece. Her heart stopped, and the words barely escaped her lips. The suspect has been identified as my son, Matthew Hawkins. Select all images with a school bus, instructed the pop-up screen as I clicked on the photos. Targets locked and confirmed, the next screen announced as missiles launched towards them. My daughter's face grew dismayed when I asked where my wife was. It was only after a rare moment of clarity I wondered how many more times I'd burden her with that question, and how many came before. My wife was inconsolable when she woke to find our baby dead beside her this morning. If I had known the dog was going to dig him up like that, I would never have taken him with me when I hid the body.